Plus, the last time you and I had lunch, you looked me in my eyes and was like, "You still got the eye of the tiger, Pat, man. I don't know if you still got it in you." So I was like, "Take that, bro."
All right, so this week I got in another 80 something miles. I can't remember, but I think I'm now 3 consecutive weeks above 80 miles. The big drama that happened this week was my treadmill breaking. And now that was a scary thought, thinking that perhaps I wouldn't have my treadmill anymore. I've become increasingly more and more dependent on it, particularly since this COVID-19 crisis kicked off. And so I did a lot of troubleshooting. I'll show y'all a little bit of the video of me working on it, not knowing if I was going to be able to fix it or not. As soon as it went down, I told my wife, I was like, hey, if we can't get this thing fixed, I'm going to have to buy a new treadmill. And she was on board right away, just knowing how important the treadmill has been. But I wanted to give it one shot to see if I could fix it myself. And it turned out to be, let's see if I have it here. It turned out to be this little switch. That was the culprit. I don't have the broken one, but this is like a backup one I have. It's like I guess a universal switch that they pretty much use on all treadmills. So I was able to get 2 of these for like $6 and swapped out the switch, and it was good to go. So I was back in action. So I was only down one day without a treadmill, and then we got right back to that. So that was probably the biggest event that happened during this week. Other than that, keeping the quarantine check-ins going. I spoke with Patrick, catching up with him, seeing how he's training and how he is progressing through this time as well. So we'll cut to that video now. Yo, what's up, man?
My man, 50 grand. What's going on, big guy?
I can't complain. How's everything over on your side?
Oh man, no complaints on this side. No complaints on this side.
All right, trying to figure out I still can't figure out how to do this split screen thing.
Oh.
I tried to do this with Omari and Roy, and you know how when you're looking at FaceTime, you get yourself in like a little box and the other person in a bigger box. And I've been trying to figure out how to do this whole side by side thing.
Oh man, you one step above me for trying to figure it out at all.
All right, let's see here. All right, Bump, we just gonna have to make it work like how it is. But shoot, man, what you been up to?
Nothing, man. Nothing. Just grinding, man. That's
Yeah.
all. Just trying to put in work. That's all.
Yeah.
So just training. That's
All
it.
right.
So.
Yeah, I've been trying to do the same, man. I'm without having like definitive races on the calendar. You know me, I'm hyper competitive, so racing and competing and a lot of that stuff is part of my drive to keep doing what I'm doing. But with everything up in the air now, I've definitely found a little bit of a drop in motivation. I'm having to find ways to like remotivate myself. But I see you're getting back to it, so you seem to be kind of the opposite.
Well, the whole thing for me was I had, I think when there were so many races available, I kind of took it for granted.
Yeah.
As if like, okay, anytime I feel like it, I can just go and I can jump in, I can train for a particular race. The races will always be there.
Right.
And then, the whole shutdown, the whole quarantine had a completely opposite effect for me than it did for everyone else. It was like, oh my God, now I got all this time.
Yeah.
So now let me really crank in, let me really, crank up the mileage. And man, I just went crazy.
I see that.
So, yeah. So, plus the last time you and I had lunch, you looked me in my eyes and was like, "You still got the eye of the tiger, Pat, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still got it in you." So I was like, "Take that, bro. Got this, brother."
I told you then. I had to like that's exactly what I said. I said, man, I needed to see you and look at you to see if you still had that fight in you or not, or if you had just decided to hang it up. And
oh, man.
I see the and not that there's to me there's nothing once you put in the work, and clearly everyone who's watching this at least knows your resume, knows you put in the work from college, professional level Olympics, and even now in the more recreational part of your life, you have clearly put in the work. So you would be the prime case of someone who's entitled to say, you know what, been there, done that. Now I'm gonna sit back. But it seems like, yeah, that's not the plan for you.
You know, for me, man, I just we were talking about this the other day. We were Saturday morning. We were out on a 32-mile bike ride, and I've been staying away from bike rides because right now I'm just dialed in to breaking the 3-hour barrier, you know, in marathon. So I didn't want to do anything that was going to take away from that. But anyway, we're all standing around and we're talking, and we started talking about running, and I said, you know, sometimes I don't know that I love running. I like running. I like running a lot. I don't know that I love running, but I love being good at running.
Yeah.
And so, and that's just the competitive side of me.
Man, I feel like you're speaking my mind, man.
You know, it was like growing up, man, I didn't love basketball.
Yeah.
I was just really good at basketball.
Yeah.
I loved football.
Yep.
You know, but you know, so I love being really good at running. I love stepping up at the line and people being like, damn, he showed up today.
Yeah.
You know, so in order to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish in running, I got to put in the work, you know. And it's not that I don't, you know, if love is here, where I feel about running is right about here, you know, so it's not that far off.
Right.
But loving being good at it is way up here. I love being good at running. So, you know, the competitive side of me takes over, man.
Man, you just spoke to me that you put into words something that I've been feeling. It's the same. I felt the same way, especially during this quarantine. I really, really like running as far as just the act of it. You know, and I think if you take the pace and speed, you know, just getting out there and having a chance to just sort of get away and clear my mind, that's easy for me. But I have found it more difficult to keep the drive as far as, like, you know, going after it and hammering it, you know, day after day after day after day. And I think it's like you said, but what I do like is being good at running. So you have to do that part.
You gotta do that part, man. You know, I look at my schedule and I look at those tough workouts, you know, especially the speed work. I'm like, man, I'm looking forward to the day when I'm like in my 70s, 80s, where I'm throwing the watch away. I'm running the trail. I'm at Jerry Brown level. You know, I'm just out there just enjoying it, you know, not having to worry about pace or time or, you know, any of that, man, heart rate or anything. I'm just out enjoying the run. Then I'll probably love it. But right now, I'm too competitive to just be able to relax. And, you know, in order to get to where I need to be, I know I've got to push it. So, you know, that's where I am. I still have a major goal in the marathon. I've got to break the 3-hour barrier. And until then, I can't rest. I can't sleep at night until it's done. So that's kind of where I am right now.
So is that it? When you run sub 3, then you're gonna kind of throw it in neutral?
No. Then I'm going to my next goal. My next goal is I want to go to, you know, I'm going straight triathlon. So I've got Boston, Chicago, New York.
Yep.
And then when I'm done with that, then I'm going into straight triathlons, and then I'm going to Kona. You know, my next thing, just like I wanted to run Boston, I want to do a full tri in Kona. You know, the Ironman in Kona. So I can get the Iron Man tattoo on the back of my leg.
Yeah.
You know, and I keep telling people, I'm going to Kona, and hell no, I am not doing 12 triathlons to get in on Legacy, and I ain't about that life. So that just means I got to continue to grind, you know, and get to a level. So, you know, the grind doesn't stop. Maybe after that, I still won't. I'm just competitive, man. I'll always be pushing.
So
this is who I am.
You said you got Boston, London, New York.
I got Boston, Chicago,
New York. What are your I'm just curious. I have no inside information, but I certainly have my thoughts. Of the 3, how many races do you think you're actually going to be running this year?
Honestly, I don't know that we'll see Boston or Chicago.
Yeah.
That's my honest thought. You know, It kind of sucks because hell, like, I was I missed the cutoff in Boston so many times. I qualified, but then didn't, still
Right.
missed the cutoff, and finally to get in and to have such a big cushion this time. So I don't know that we're gonna, especially Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and not just saying that based off of your thoughts. I just don't know that we're gonna. I just think it's too quick of a turnaround. Chicago, maybe. I think by New York, I think we should be good, but who knows?
Yeah.
One thing about it is, one way or another, I'll be in hell of a shape, by the time they come around. So,
That's a fact.
we'll see what happens. So,
Let's
yeah.
just say worst case scenario, and I don't want to speak those into existence, but let's, for argument's sake, all three of them end up canceling or going virtual or something other than having a full-on race. My thoughts are that I would imagine some of these smaller marathons would be the first ones that'll come back, not the big
Mm-hmm.
city ones. Would you be willing to, let's just say some other small local marathon popped up this year. Would you switch over, or do you think you would just hold out and wait for those races to return?
No, I'm gonna be so hungry for a race, man. I made a huge mistake last year. The last time when you and I were doing our long runs together, and I was in crazy shape then. I believe I was in sub-3 shape at that time, and you were the one like, Pat, just go get a PQ, man. Just go get a PQ, and that's when I ran Shamrock and cruised to 3:14. But I was in peak shape then, and at that time I should have raced and reset all my PRs. I should have hit a 5K, I should have hit a 10K, I should have hit a half, I should have hit everything and just reset all my PRs. And I did set my half PR during that time, but I missed out on that. I won't miss out on this. I'm so hungry for a race, man. I'm telling you, if they arranged one that just did circles around my house, I'd run that one right now. Seriously. No, first marathon that's available, within reason. Yeah, I'm signing up for it. So yeah.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. I can see the hunger in you, man. That's a good thing to see. And
I feel good, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you look good, man. You look good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I don't know if I want to see you coming out of this quarantine. That's going to be the interesting thing. You don't know who's doing. We all know where we were before we went into the quarantine. But this is like that hibernation period. Some people are relaxing, some people are getting after it. Then we come out of this thing, the whole playing field could be reset. So
it's so funny, man. I've been watching all these people, and they're doing this challenge and that challenge, and I ran, 10 miles for 10 days, and man, I ran double digits for 50 days straight.
Yeah.
10 and 12 and 15 and 20. I mean, I was just, in the month of April, I dropped over 400 miles, man. I was just trying to, just trying to get myself back to where I knew I needed to be.
Right.
My true Boston schedule kicked in on May 11th. And so, yeah, that's 85 miles to 110 miles a week, two a days, most days during the week. So I'm just on a mission, man. And, I don't want to just be good. I want to be great. So in order to do that, I got to put in the work. So plus with Lace Up, it's got to be leadership by example, man. I can't expect them to put in the work, and I'm not putting in the work myself. So got to give them something to, So it's all good, man.
All right, that's what's up, man. I think that's the perfect note to end this on. You still continue to inspire me, man. I see the fight and fire in you. I have, as I've said to you before, I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever in my mind that you're more than capable of running a sub-3. So I'm sure it's going to happen for you soon. I'll throw Lace Up Fitness link below here somewhere. Shout out anything you want to shout out, Instagrams or any of that kind of stuff.
I just want to shout out to my team, man. I have a great team with Lace Up, man. Couldn't ask for a better crew. And want to thank you for the interview, man. Appreciate you. Man. Hey, let's hit some 20-milers soon.
Let's get it. All right. Peace,
all right,
bro.
brother. All right, man. Later.
And yeah, that's it. So that's pretty much my week. Still on the treadmill. Got my treadmill fixed. This week I'm aiming to probably cross the 90-mile threshold. Body's holding up well with the mileage increase. Still keeping the pace. Pretty casual. And we'll see. So next race on the radar is still Boston, so we'll see if that happens. And as more and more states open up, eventually I'm sure I'll start to experiment with running a bit outside. But for now, we're still 100% on the treadmill. All right, catch everybody up next week.